Yeah, shall we start? Yeah. So in last class, we have seen data types. On the first day of the session, we started with testing concepts, basic of testing concepts. Then we understood the importance of automation. What are the section we have to work on? Basically, when it comes to testing, those are new. So you have to follow this process only, testing process, planning and control. Any of this will be done by the higher management, test lead or management, whereas your role will be more on analysis and design in implementation and execution. And based on the defect you raise, you have to check on defect life cycle, which any of when we connect for 8 hours per day, at that time I'll try to cover all these things. Okay. Because these are all some theory part which we need to work on. So okay, fine. So now in that we started writing the test case. The basic idea about how to write the test case is very important. So once the test case is written, we'll get into the automation. Anyhow, for programming, nothing is prerequisite. Just you should know how to use your system. Basic idea about the system, that's enough for starting with programming. So we are planning to work with the Java. Since we have 2 hours per day, we can start with Java. Slowly we can get into Java, and parallelly you can do some practice. If I cover it in a single day, it will be quite difficult. So 2 hours we are planning to cover some topics daily. So within Friday, or like on Friday or Saturday, you like next Wednesday, almost 8 hours. If you take from Monday, in 8 hours you will get some idea about Java, how to write programming in Java. In the last class I explained you about the data types. In Java, whenever you run the program, you will write a source code. You have to write the source code. For understanding the source code only, we have the session. Once we write the source code, we run it. Your operating system is not going to understand the source code directly, so it needs JVM's help. JVM will help the operating system to understand the source code. Before that, compiler concept will be coming into picture, which converts that into a bytecode, which is nothing but a machine understandable code where your operating system can understand with the help of JVM. That's what's going to happen. Source code to bytecode. From bytecode, we are going to get the output. This bytecode is something common which you can move to any platform, provided that platform is going to have the JVM. Okay. Instead of sharing the source code, we try to share the bytecodes only between the platforms. And Java is a platform independent. So using this particular concept only, they are achieving the platform independence. So whereas JVM, we have to install in each and every platform. To install JVM, we go for JRE. To get JRE, we nowadays will use JDK, which by default install the runtime environment. Now then we started with data types. Let me know if you have any doubts with the data types. Last class we have discussed about data types, predefined, non-predefined. Few set is already designed by the Java team and given to us. Based on that only, most of the non-predefined data types is designed. So predefined in the sense the byte, short, int, long, float, double, and Boolean, char. For all these predefined data types, we can easily mention the size, range, everything is going to be fixed default values. Whereas for non-predefined, only when you know the value, either number of character or how many integer you are going to store or how many double value you are going to store, based on that only size will be calculated. And that is nothing but non-predefined data type. Okay. During the runtime only, basically when you declare, after declaring, when you run it, at that time only the memory will be calculated. It will be dynamic. Okay. It's not fixed always. For example, if you store int a equal to 0 or int a equal to 100 or int a equal to 2000, 20,000, whatever it is, it's going to take 32-bit. That's the concept we have seen. Then we have seen implicit conversion, whereas you can convert int to double. Int is 32, double is of 64, so which is possible. You can convert int to long, which is possible. Long is of more space, more memory, so it's possible. So those are called implicit conversion, which will not lead to data loss. If you try to do an opposite way, double to float, or when you try to do long to integer and all, it will throw error. So at that time, we can apply the typecasting. While applying the typecasting, we have to be very careful whether we are converting to a proper range or not. Unwantedly, you should not do the typecasting. We have done typecasting in few places. Let me show you that. That is basically called explicit conversion. We are forcefully converting int, okay, int to short, or we are forcefully converting double to int. So those details we'll try to do casting. At that time, it's mandatory to do the typecasting. Let me show you the document. Yeah, so this place, we try to convert double to float. When you do that, it will throw error. So we will try to apply the typecasting, which might lead to data loss. So we have to be careful, which is nothing but explicit conversion. So where we can do typecasting in the sense, when we do division with integer and all, the outcome will be decided based on the data type you deal with. On the right hand side, if you try to deal with whole number, it will be of integer. And if you try to deal with decimal values, it will be of double. So if I do 22/7, or if I do system.out.println, if I do 22/7, it should be like 3.14, something like that. Since both are integer, the outcome will be of integer only. That's how programming is going to be working, the Java programming. To overcome this issue, what we will try to do is we'll convert this to double. Either we'll convert 22 to double or 7 to double. Any one detail, if it deals with double, outcome will be of double. Or in this case, we'll apply the typecasting, where we will try to put it as double. So we are converting integer value to double by explicitly doing a typecasting. Any of this is quite possible. It is going to be possible. We are just mentioning it as a double value. Take the 7 as a double. That's it, instead of integer. So this is what we have discussed in the last week. This week we'll start with logical writing. This is going to be very important topic. As I told you, this particular topics are very important. So you need an hands-on practice on all these topics. Conditional statement, iterative statement. That's what we are planning to cover today. On Friday, I'll be explaining about how to create a method and how to call the method. So basically, we'll understand creating and calling the method. And then once that is done, I'll be explaining about the classes and objects. So that is what important. This topic is going to be very important. That's on Friday. So today we'll be doing some hands-on practice on conditional statement, iterative statement, how to use that in a program. Let's understand that. All of you can open the Eclipse first of all. You can try doing the practice during the session itself. We already created two packages. One package for printing and checking the detail. The other package is for working with data types. Now we will try to create a new package. Under the source, you will have lots of packages. Form dot, the company name dot, the package name. So right now we'll try to work on conditional statement. You can give the decision making or conditional statement or logics, anything is fine. Create a package, everyone. Now inside the package, I'm going to create a class. Okay. Try to make sure you are getting comfortable with Eclipse day by day. That is also important. For example, by mistake, if you close the console, how to get the console environment. If I close it, how to get that from Eclipse? you have search option, which should be working. Console. You can see console, which should be working. Okay, try to use the latest version of Eclipse. If you are using older version, which may not be available, console option comes under window show view. Suppose you closed a package explorer or console, whatever it is, you can go to window show view. You can see console under window show view, package explorer or project explorer, which will give you the view of your project. Okay. And sometimes what happens is during the installation of Eclipse, if you remember, we tried to install this particular one, Eclipse IDE for Java developer. There are lots of packages available with Eclipse. Once you download the Eclipse environment, and if you double click on it, the exe file, it will give you different packages, Java EE and C, C++, different packages will be given. You can install whichever the package you want. But when it comes to Eclipse, for working with Selenium on automation, Eclipse IDE for Java developer, a simple basic installation is enough. Suppose in case if you install some other thing, it will give you a different view. Like web, if you install Java EE and all, it will try to give you web view. Right now in the application view, the Eclipse view, the perspective will be different. In that case, what you can do is you can change the perspective. Under window, there will be an option like perspective, open perspective. You can see option like other. Then you can go for Java option will be there. Just double click on it, it will change the view. In most of the cases, if you try to do a Java EE, it will go to this Java browsing view. This is a different view which helps us for working on development. So right now, Java view is enough. Perspective, open perspective, other Java. Anyhow, in case if you try change it everything, then you can change the perspective. Now, inside the package, we'll create a class, and that class will be converted into bytecode. The source code will be converted into bytecode, and when you run the bytecode, in the bytecode, JVM will check for the main method. So it's important, in order to trigger any class, you should have the main method. Start point is mandatory. So let me give the name of this class as a decision making demo. With the main method you can do. Created, and whatever the logic we are writing, we will be writing within the main method only till now. Try to generate this. In case if you want to write some logic, for example, when it comes to Selenium, you have to deal with multiple tabs. You will be dealing with multiple tabs. When you try to deal with multiple tabs, for example, you navigate to some site like this, and then you will start clicking on some element. And when you click on some element, it opens in a new tab. Now there will be 3-4 tabs will be available in your browser. At a time, you can automate only one tab. You can operate only one tab. So you have to switch from one tab to another tab. While switching from one tab to another tab, you will be getting some alphanumeric ID, some alphanumeric detail will be given. And that will be quite difficult to understand which alphanumeric detail is pointing to which tab. For that, what we will do is we'll compare the title of the page. This is going to be the title of the page. City India. This is Citibank India. And this is something like a online credit card application. That's the title of the page, which comes in the tab. Now to compare the title, basic conditional operation, conditional statements and all, it's important. Okay, so initially you have to understand this conditional statement by working on few logical parameters, which we'll be doing it one by one. The first is basic thing which you need to know is if condition. It's going to be straightforward. Writing in if condition and all the programming is important. Right now we'll be discussing with Java. Next, there is something called switch condition. So using both the option, you can write the logic. Once this is done, we will try to work on the iterative statement. That is nothing but for loop for each, and then while or do while. This operation is what we are going to work on right now. Along with this, you have to understand few keywords like break, let's continue. So these are all things which you need to work on. In order to work with logical operation like condition and all, you need to know relational operators. For comparison, you need to know relational operators. And basics of logical operator is also important. For doing a multiple comparison or either or comparison and all, we need the logical operators. So first, we'll work on these operators. We have already seen one operator. We have given something like int x equal to n I gave. Right now, this is your assignment operator. What we are seeing over here. Please check your audio. I just muted someone. In case of doubts, let me know. Okay. So first, in the Java part on yesterday, we started working with equal to, right? So that's basically an assignment operator to assign a value. Right now, what happens is when you run the program, x is a variable name which will be registered for integer. 32-bit will be allocated for x. X is reserved for integer. You can change the value. I can change the value of x at any time. There is no restriction of changing the value. While changing it, it should be an integer. You cannot put a double value on that. It's not possible. It is already fixed for integer, and you cannot redeclare it. Redeclare using int also, it's not possible. It's already reserved. So that variable, you cannot use it again. It is a duplicate variable. You cannot declare it. Okay. You cannot redeclare using any data type, which is not at all possible. Now, I have given some x equal to 10, or let me keep it as x equal to minus 10. Okay, now I wanted to check whether the given number is positive or negative. So how to achieve that? For that, what we can do, what will be the logic? First, you have to think about the logic. For example, positive or negative, simple idea only. If the value, given value is greater than 0, it's positive. If it is less than 0, it's going to be negative. That's the logic here. So for that, we can write the logic. So if condition you have to write. Now, if here, if the syntax, and then over here within the bracket, you have to give the Boolean operation. Like with Boolean data type, you have to give like either true or false. It should be either true or false. So how to achieve that? For that, what we will try to do is, let me do system.out.println x greater than 0. Now, there are lots of logical operator. Important logical operator will be greater than, less than, equal to, not equal to, greater than equal to, less than equal to. So these operators which uses for comparing the numbers, greater than, less than, for all these things you can use this relational operators. That's what we will be doing it right now. I have given something like let me declare x equal to 10, and then within the system.out.println I have given x greater than 0. When you do this relational operator, it will give you an output as a Boolean, either true or false. Let me run this program. You can see we are getting an output true or false. Can we store this? Suppose if I do something like double z equal to, is it possible to do something like this? X greater than 0, I am doing it. Okay, so the output will be either true or false. Under which data type you can store that output, true or false? What is the data type we have discussed? Boolean, right? So the output will be of Boolean. When you do the relational operator, the output will be of Boolean. In programming, either you can store it and get it, or you can directly do it. You are going to get the output. Okay, so it's your wish whether you want to store it or not. Most of the time, we don't store it. We don't store it, and again, we don't use that operation, something like this. But this is a simple idea about logical operator. So, yeah. So with if condition, what we need to do is we have to write the logic. Okay. So it goes like this. If inside this, you have to give either true or you have to give false. Only these options are available, true or false. Based on that, condition is going to work. Now, instead of giving just typing true, it's always going to run if I give true. So what I'll do is I'll do x greater than 0. This is a condition. No semicolon. If you give semicolon, it will become if condition will become terminated in the same line. So you should not give semicolon. And then open and close the parenthesis. If you don't give parenthesis, what will happen that I'll tell you, right? You can go with the syntax. This is a standard we do. We write the if condition, then we'll use the parenthesis starting from this point. Now x greater than 0, it will give you either true or false. If this is true, this part will be running. So inside this, whatever you want, you can type. Let me type something like this. The given value is positive. Okay. And I wanted to print a number. To print a number along with it. If I give x inside double quotes, it is not going to print the value. What it will do? If I give x inside this, it will check for this condition and see what's happening. How can we print the value, like the variable? How to give the variable detail along with the string? Concatenation. You have to use the plus operator x, and in x is an integer, and whatever you give within the double quotes, that's going to be a string. Anything to string will be string. Remember that. Outcome will be of string. You can see the given value is positive 10. Suppose if I give minus 10, now what will happen? So it will check for this condition, x greater than 10 or not. If it is false, it will not run this statement. If it is false, that's it. It will go for come out of the if condition and go for the next step. No other step. So it will be empty. Okay. Now I wanted to cover this also. I wanted to check if it is negative. I want to print the given values negative. So how to do that? For that, I can write one more if condition, but we know it is a combination. We don't want to check it each and every time. So you can do multiple if condition. You can write one more if condition also, but it is unnecessary. So what we will try to do is we'll just merge all this together. So we have an option like else part. If this is true, run this. If this is not true, then go for the else part. Else I wanted to print same statement. Let me put it over here. System.out.println. If I run it, it will check for this condition. If this is true, it will go for the if condition. If that is false, it will go for the else part. The given value is going to be negative. What if I want to, what if I give 0 right now? Which one will be printed, positive or negative? Yeah. So since we are checking this greater than 0, it will be false. If it is false, it will go for the else part. Correct. So it's a basic idea only which you should have. Okay. It will check this. If it is not at all matching, it will go for the else part. Whatever it is in the else part, it will print. But I wanted to say separate a 0 from positive and negative. So we cannot conclude 0 is positive or negative. So what we are planning to do in that case is I can write multiple if condition. Okay. For that, what you can do is dependent if condition you can do. You can implement this over here, else if. And else if I can do something like x equal to 0. If x equal to 0, system.out.println, it's 0 I wanted to print. Okay, a simple logic. Now what will happen is it will check for this condition. If it is false, it will check for this condition. If it is true, this part will be running. That's it. Suppose if this is false, if this is also false, then it will go for the else part. Else part is not mandatory. In case if there is a requirement, you can see without else part also the code is going to work. Else is not mandatory. Okay, it's an option. If you wanted to cover, you cover that. For example, I can give if x greater than 0, x equal to 0, else if x less than 0. So that is also you can write, but anyhow, even though you write it, you are going to get the same output. It will check for this, either it will be falling in this or falling in this. Otherwise, it will go for the negative one. Okay. So a simple idea about multiple if condition. Got an idea about the syntax? Mostly you people will be knowing it. Most of you would have spent some time in programming or something. So during that time, or you might have known some topics and all. For sure, you should be you will be knowing about this if condition. But how to implement in programming? What are the ways we can write this if condition? Okay, and how can we use logical operator? How to implement in our business logic? That's what is important over here. For example, while designing a framework, we do the same thing. For while designing a framework, what we will try to do is we wanted to launch the browser, different browsers. So for that, what we will do is we'll write an if condition only like this. Okay, if browser is matching with the Edge, then Edge browser. If browser is matching with FF, then Firefox. Else, I wanted to launch Chrome. So like these kind of if conditions, which conditions and all, you will be using it regularly in the programming. For that, you need to do some practice. Okay, I'll just cover a few more things and then I'll give you one scenario for practice. You try to work on it. Let's understand other options quickly. So, for example, you have designed some logic here and you wanted to run it step by step. Listen carefully. This is an important one. Debugging whenever you write some logic, sometimes what will happen is you will try to understand one logic and you'll try to write, but unfortunately, logic will not work properly, or you will not be able to find where it is going wrong. So during that time and all, there is an option called debugging, which is done with the help of Eclipse is going to support the debugging. Okay. So you can run this code step by step. For example, I wanted to run this code step by step and see what is happening. Let me give minus 90. Okay. See what is going to happen. Over here, all of you listen here. Number will be there. 7, the line number will be there in Eclipse. Here you can double click on it or right click, toggle breakpoint will be there. So first thing what you need to do is, in order to do debugging, you have to apply the breakpoint. So breakpoint is nothing but during the runtime, it will come and stop over here. Wherever you add the breakpoint, it will come and stop over there during the runtime. Okay. Now, when it is stopping at this point, from that you can control it. You can move step by step and see what is happening in the programming. That's what I'm planning to do. Whenever you right click on it, you can see run as Java application, debug as Java application is there. Run as Java application, you do, it just runs it and give you the output. If you do debug as Java application, it will check for the breakpoint. Okay, do you have any breakpoint? In which line number you have the breakpoint? We have given the breakpoint. You can see we have given the breakpoint in line number 7. Yeah. So right now, when I do debug as Java application, you can right click on this file, debug as Java application as one option, or right click on the file exactly, debug as Java application, or you can see a bug symbol here, debug option. You can click on this. Anyone you can pick. So let me do debug as Java application. Now it is going to enter into a debug mode. While entering into a debug mode, it will change the perspective. Initially, I told you know how to change back the perspective. That is what's going to happen. It will change into debug perspective, which will be better for viewing purpose. Let me click on switch. You can see it got switched into debug view. Right now, you can see line number 7 got highlighted. So it means the execution is in line number 7. From there, I can run it one by one and see. Now, during the debug mode, okay, so you have to understand few things. One is called basic thing, that is nothing but terminate. Terminate. For example, you can see the option here, terminate. If you do terminate, it will abort the execution. nothing will happen. It will just close the complete execution. It will not run the remaining thing, just about the execution from line number 11. You can see it stopped. That is called terminate. You started debugging, now you understand the issue and you don't want to debug further, or you don't want to run the code at all further, then you can do the terminate option. Is it clear for you what is terminate? Now let me go for next option. There is something called continue, okay, or continue or resume. The option will be like continue or resume. You can see shortcut keys you try to learn. Shortcut keys F8. When you hover on it, it will show the shortcut key F8. You can see right now. Do we have any other breakpoint after line number 7? Do we have any breakpoint? No breakpoint after line number 7, right? When I click on resume, it will go and stop in the next breakpoint. Okay, it will run the code and stop in the next breakpoint. If we don't have any breakpoint, it will complete the operation. Let me resume it. You can see it got completed. Suppose let me add a breakpoint in line number 19 and debug the code. Okay, we are in line number 7. Let me click on resume. It will go for the, it will just run the script, remaining script, it will start running. If there is a breakpoint, it will go and stop. You can see it comes to line number 19, so it stopped. And if I click on resume, it will just complete the operation. Suppose you start debugging, you have some 100 lines of code. You have debugged some 10 lines of code. Further, you don't want to run, you don't want to debug, sorry. In that case, you want to run the code, remaining code, but you don't want to debug. In that case, you can go for resume. Or sometimes what will happen is, when you start debugging, it will try to enter into some system defined functionalities. It will go into system defined functionalities. During that time and all, if you want to run the remaining code, you can click on resume. Okay, that is what resume is. Okay, you will be using resume also. Now, apart from that, you have two important things. One is step into, step over. Step into you can learn only when you try to create your own method. Right now, we are not creating any method, but we are calling the method like println and all. So step into we'll be working on later. Right now, I'll give you an idea about step over. Step into, I cannot give you a clear picture right now because we have to work on methods. We have to create our own methods, which we will be doing in the next class. We have to create a methods. Okay, fine. So when you run the program, let me do run debug as Java application. Step over, if I do, it will go for next line, line number 8. Right now, line number 8 is not having any code, so it will go for line number 9. Two options will be there. Step into, the option is F5, step over. Let me click on step over. You can see it comes to line number 9. Now, during the execution, you can see we completed line number 7. Line number 7 got executed. So x equal to minus 90 is already loaded in memory. You can see here. You wanted to know the value of x, you can hover on it. X equal to minus 90. And then going further, you can see check for this condition false, checks for this condition false, then it will go for the else part. Completed. That is your step over. Okay. Step into, you don't want to worry, right? As of now, you give step over. Step into, I'll tell you what is step into. Okay. You can leave the step into as of now. Just do step over. Just it will come from line number 7 to 9. From 9 to it will go for 10. Any of this is false. If it is false, it will go for directly the statement. If this is also false, it will go for directly this else part. Okay, that's what happened. So basic idea about debugging is clear for you. We write lots of logic and we'll start debugging the code. Got some idea about it? Clear? The concept of debugging, basic. This can be done on different tools. In Eclipse, how to do it is what you need to understand. You have to add a breakpoint and then you have to do it. Okay. Now we will be writing few more logics. After that, we'll try to debug it and check it. Okay. For example, I have a, assume that I have a number. Okay. And, page number. So in case if you are planning to write a variable name called page number, okay, or you are going to give a variable name like my name in Java, there are standards. We have to follow the standard. If you don't follow the standard, code will work, but when you share the code and all, it will be difficult for other members to understand. Project name should be upper camel case. Upper camel case in the sense every word first letter should be in uppercase. Class name should be upper camel case. If you see our class name D M and demo D is in uppercase, every word first letter will be in uppercase. Other than variable, what we will do is we'll use lower camel case, which means first word always will be in lowercase. Following word first letter will be in uppercase. If you see page number, I have given first word will in lowercase and following word first letter will be in uppercase. Page number I'll give it as 150. Okay, now I wanted to check whether the given value 150 is falling between 100 to 200 or not. I wanted to check that. For that, what I can do is I can write a condition like this. Same kind of condition is what I'm going to write. Page number greater than 100. Okay, I wanted to include 100 also, so greater than equal to 100. Whether it's falling between 100 to 200 or not. And then if it is greater than 100, this will enter into this if condition. Again, I can do one more condition saying that page number less than equal to 200. So it will check for this condition also. If this condition is true, it will enter into this if condition. If this is true, it will enter into this if condition. So nested if condition is also possible in Java. In scenario, you might be using nested if condition. So if you wanted to use, you can use the nested if condition. Suppose if a number is divisible by 6 or not, so what you can do is you can do divisible by 2 and 3 and check both. If both divisible, if the number divisible by 2 as well as 3, then it is divisible by 6. So we conclude something like that. So those things and all you can do using this multiple check condition. Same thing can be done in a simple way by using the logical operator. Nested if condition is possible. If you want to write, you can write. The same thing can be easily achieved with logical operator. Logical operator in the sense something like and or and then not operator is there. Okay, you can use this for if condition comparison. You can use this. For example, it will check this condition. Let me try to put a breakpoint here, and I'll try to debug the code. If you see, it comes to the line number 7. Anyhow, I've done the debugging of this part. I have to start with line number 24. So in that case, I can add a breakpoint here, line number 24, and click on resume. It will come and stop over here. Page number, you can see page number right now. Hover on it, it will give you the detail. I think some issues there. You can see this variable page number is 150. When I hover on, it should be giving. That's fine. We'll check on that. Okay, so right now page number is 150. When you hover on it, it should be giving the details. Some issue with the tool. Let me try to check it again. Now I'm in line number 7. Let me click on resume. You can see it comes to line number 24. Then I will go for step over. it will check the condition. Page number right now it's greater than 100. So it will enter into this condition. Again, it will check for the value. The number values less than equal to 200. That is also true. Then it will run this condition. Okay. If you wanted to add any else part like greater than 100, but not less than 200. So those else part and all, if you want to write, you can write. Suppose when you wanted to check the page number, like the page number should be maximum of 10 pages only, it should be there, or those conditions and all, you can check with this. Or you wanted to get some value from the web page, and that web page falls under a proper category or not, if you wanted to check, you can use this logic and check it. Similarly, the same logic can be written using the logical operator. And so in a single line, we can complete this logic. For example, page number greater than equal to 100. This should be true. And to ampersand if you use, that is for and page number less than equal to 100. Okay. Now, what this will try to do is it will check both the condition. This condition will also be checked, and this condition will also be checked. If both are true, first this will check page number greater than equal to 10. It is true or false right now. So right now the value is 150. If you see here, it will be true or false. In this case, it will be true, right? So simple logic only here, right? So it will be true, and this condition, if this is true, then only it will check this condition. If this is also true, then this part will be executed. Both the conditions should be giving you true. For example, while writing the logical operator over here, logical operator, you're writing relational operator you're using, which will give you either true or false, which I've shown you by printing it. Now, by mistake, if you give equal to, it will start throwing the error. Why it is throwing error right now, you see here. If can check either true or false is what it can understand. The if condition can understand either true or false. During that time, if you give equal to and all, it's not going to do any operation. It's a syntax error. It will be shown directly by Eclipse. Okay, greater than equal to both the condition, it will check. Only if both the condition is true, then it will check for this if condition. Okay. If I give, suppose I give something like 99, 98. So first thing, what will happen is it will check for this condition false. So it will, that's it. This is done. It will come over here. It will check for this condition. 90 greater than equal to 100 false. That's it. It will not go for checking and the second condition and all. If it is false, that's it. It will come out and go for the remaining step. Nothing is there, so it will complete the operation. Both should be true. That is your AND operator. So got it? Writing the logic, basic logic. Let me give 190. 100 to 200. Now where to use OR operator? Okay, let me take row. We will be writing a logic like this. String browser equal to ch. If it is ch, I wanted to launch a Chrome browser. So that condition I wanted to write. For string comparison, we use string methods only. String is a class. I can do control, it will take you to the class. String is a class. You can see it's a class. And this class is having lots of methods which we will be working on. Okay. String methods is what we will be using for comparison. As of now, we are not going to discuss the methods and all. We'll do a basic operation. Browser equal to EFF. If browser equal to EFF, I wanted to launch system.out.println. I wanted to launch Firefox. Okay. Else, I wanted to launch Chrome. Something like logic for launching the browser and all we have to write. So those things we will be doing it one by one. But logic is what we are currently for. Okay. If browser equal to EFF, I want it to launch Firefox. the browser equal to ch or any other thing I wanted to launch. So suppose if I want to cover edge, what we can do in case if we want to cover edge also.
else if
Yeah, so else if is what we can try to use it. So that's going to be a simple logic. You can use something like if browser, whichever the browser you wanted to keep it as default, you cannot try to keep it in the else part. Nothing is matching, try to go with Chrome. That's what I'm planning to do over here. Okay. Now, if I put a breakpoint here and debug the code, it will come to the breakpoint line number 7, resume, come to line number 24. Let me click on resume. It comes to line number 37. Now browser equal to edge. You can see browser equal to edge. Checks this condition false. Checks this condition true. So it just executed the script. Okay. Let me give FF in uppercase. Let me try to debug code. See right now browser equal to FF uppercase. And here what I'm trying to compare is FF in lowercase. Now it will do a case sensitive comparison only when you do equal to. Now if I do that, you can see FF capital FF equal to lower FF. It's not matching. So the output is basically a failure here, false. True or false, it was false. So it will go for the next condition. Again, it will check this. So result will be false. So it will go for the else part. You can see launch crowd. It's basically a case sensitive comparison. One more thing it will try to compare, that's a location, which we will be seeing it later. Let me keep FF and try to run. I'll be getting launch browser. Now, if I try to keep Firefox, I wanted to launch this particular, or if I keep FF, I wanted to launch Firefox. Okay. How to achieve that? What we can do in this case? For FF also, I wanted to launch the Firefox. See, in that case, I can write one more else if. But what is the problem of writing one more else if? It will work. If I write one more else if, this is going to work. If I run it, it will work. So what's the problem here? The code will work. It will check this condition false. It will check this condition true. This will work. If you keep on writing a logic for same different condition, you can see if condition will be keep on. We have to add a lot of details you need to add. So it's not recommended to repeat the code in programming. You should not recreate the same code in multiple places. You have to try to go for some other concepts to reuse the code. Okay, logics when we want to reuse, we go for method. Right now, condition is something I wanted to take care. I wanted to check FF. Also, I wanted to check for like either this or this. Okay, or condition. So in case if you wanted to use or in operator in Java, you have to use this pipeline symbol. For and it will be ampersand. That's how we have to represent the detail in Java. Right now, it will check for this condition. If it is false, it will check for this. If this is true, it will run this. Suppose if this is true, that's it. It will run. Any one should be true. Got it? Just got some idea about it. Or operator, where to use or operator. If any one part is true, it will run this operation. Okay for you? Understand how to use if condition, nested if condition if there is a requirement. Okay, and how to use and operator. And means both the conditions should be satisfied. Both should be true. Or means any one, if it is true, it will try to work on the block. Okay. Is it clear for everyone? If condition, basic if condition. Okay. What, for example, just listen here. Let me do one simple thing. Let me give int y equal to 20. Y greater than 0. I will try to write some logic here. System.out.println positive. The next line, system.out.println, I will print the y value. Now you can see two statement is what I have written. So if y equal to y greater than 0, let me put a breakpoint here, debug. Let me click on resume, it will come over here. Right now y equal to 20, greater than 0 or not, it will check. If it is true, if you see, it gets into this block. In this block, you can see all the code are getting executed. Understood? So right now, if I give -20, what will happen? Will this get executed? No. So let me run the script. Anyhow, it's not going to execute. Okay, I've given, you can see here, nothing is getting printed right now. See, parenthesis, let me remove the parenthesis. If you see here, when you remove parenthesis, only first statement will be considered for the if condition. Only first statement will be considered for if condition. Okay, if this is true, this part will be running. Okay, for example, if this is false, this part will be skipped. If you don't give parenthesis, it will consider only one statement. Remember that. Okay. And when it comes to programming, it's a standard to add the parenthesis. If you don't add the parenthesis, your code will work. For example, let me run the script right now. You can see over here. We are in line number 52. Y equal to -20. Now it checks for this condition, -20 greater than 0. No. So it will see it is not running the statement in 56, but line number 57 will be always running because it's not a part of if condition. Only first statement will be considered for if condition. Is that clear for you? When you don't add the parenthesis. When you don't add the parenthesis, only first statement will be considered for the if condition. Clear? And by mistake, while writing these logics and all, if you add a semicolon, if condition is ending over here. Okay. So if you see here, by mistake, okay, those who are new, by mistake, if you add a semicolon while writing an if condition like this, I see I added if semicolon here. That's it. If is terminated here itself. And these are all independent code. Always these are all going to run. Okay, so don't get confused. So what to do is while practicing itself, even if it is a single statement or two statement, write if condition, put the parenthesis and put all the detail inside the parenthesis and don't use semicolon here. If you use semicolon, this becomes an independent statement. Always it will run. Whatever the output, it will run. If you see, even though it's not going to match, it will run the statement because it's nowhere considered for the if condition because of the semicolon. So to be make sure those are all clear. Don't add unwanted semicolon here. Okay. Now same thing. Right now you can see not greater than 0, so it's nothing is printing. Fine. So now try to do this. I'll just give you one scenario. You try to cover that quickly. Last class I gave you few assignments. Were you able to do? those two tasks I gave you, character array, and then checking for area of triangle. How many of you completed that? Okay. Yeah, getting a proper output. The output should be 12.5. If it is coming as 12.5, then it's okay. A default value for character is not empty, basically, it's space. I'll show you. It's basically a space. Okay. It looks like an empty, but it is a space. So I wanted you to declare something like this and then do the operation. So base is 25, height is 1. So output will be 25 by 2. The output should be 12.5. You can see the output is 12.5. It's fine. Sometimes what will happen is I've given it an integer. So what happens is you will not, most of the people will try to do base into height by 2. If you see base is an integer, height is an integer, 2 is an integer. So during that time, the output will be of integer, even though if it is going to come with a decimal value, first right hand side calculation will happen. Right hand side will, if it is a whole number, it will be thinking it as integer. If it is a decimal value, it will take it as double. The output will be based on that. Now base is an integer, height is an integer, 2 is an integer. Like what I did 22 by 7, I was getting 3. It's the same output only. 12.5, it was taking only 12. That 12 is stored in double, it gives you 12.0. So what you need to do is you have to declare this as a double, or you can declare this as a double, or you can make this as a 2.0. Different option, you have to just deal with decimal values, that's it, to get 12.5 decimal values, or the casting which you did is correct. You can do casting for after doing multiplication, or you can do casting for a base or a individual. Anything is fine. That is something which you need to notice. Now what you can do is you can try this. Create a, we need this. We will be using this on our program. All of you can create a new class with name demo with main method. Suppose if you already created a class, if you want to rename the class, everyone listen here, you already, I asked you to create some class, right? If you have created already, if you want to rename the class, right click on the file. This is the file. Once you right click on it, refactor will be there. Under refactor, you can go for rename. In case if you want to rename the class, or you want to rename the package, or you want to rename the project name, for all these things you can do this. You can see, let me do grade test, hit finish, and finish. It will try to rename the file. Right click on the file, refactor, rename. Let me create a class with grade demo and finish it. If you don't choose main method, how to get the main method? You can, yeah, so you can use main shortcut keys only. Controls, after typing some starting character, control space you do in Eclipse, you will get this main method. Just double click, it will come. Some shortcut keys, renaming the like renaming the class, package, those things, syntax, console, how to get the console, project explorer, how to get it, those things and all you can get. Okay, let's take the mark as something like 50 and all. For this, I wanted to allocate grade. Okay, whatever the mark I'm giving it, for that I wanted to get the grade. Grade calculation I wanted to do with this logic. Okay, if the mark is 90 and above, then I wanted to provide grade A. So I wanted to print grade A. If mark is between 80 to 89, including this value, okay, including the boundaries, including boundaries. Okay. Now including the boundaries. If it is 80 to 89, I wanted to print B. If it is 60 to 79, I wanted to print C. So for this, you have to write an if condition only. You have to write the logic using if condition. So try this quickly. I'll go ahead and ping you the detail if you want this in chat window. I just pinged you the detail as well. Conditions, I'll keep it here. Try this quickly. Try to write this logic and send me in the chat window. Yeah, that's correct. 82, 29, 62, 79. Safe. Okay. So just try it quickly. So it's a straightforward condition only. So whatever is given over here, you can just design a logic for it. Try it, everyone. So done with it. Condition is going to be straightforward. So I did not give a greater than till what condition. So you can just leave it as it is, 90 and above, for example, greater than 90, including 90. So you have to give equal to. So if it is greater than 90, I wanted to print grade A. So let me keep it as A. Now, else if. Now 80 to 89, including 80 to 89. So it should be whatever the mark we are getting, that should be greater than equal to 80. Starting from 80, including 80, and mark, it should fall between this value, the given value, so 80 to 89. So if it is a 80 or greater than 80, if you see here, it will take greater than equal to 80, less than equal to 69. If it is falling in between, this should also be true, this should also be true. If both are true, then I wanted to print a grade B condition. Okay. Else if mark, I wanted to 60 to 79, greater than equal to 60, and mark less than equal to 79. Yeah, you can use scanner class if you know. Since we have to discuss classes and object before that, I've hard coded the detail. Right now, input is hard coded. You can take it from the console or we can take it from the Excel JSON file. Those things will be slowly moving on. Okay. System.out.println. I wanted to print the grade as C. And one more else if condition, because I wanted to segregate different things. 45 to 59 also. So greater than 45 and less than equal to 59. While writing the code, sometimes if you're new, you'll be having some indentation issues like this and all. I'll tell you how to align the code. If it is greater than equal to 45 and less than equal to 59, I wanted to print it as D. If nothing is matching with the given condition, then I can go for like less than 45, less than 45, I wanted to go for F. That's the logic. To align the code, I have done this code. I want to align the code. You can give Control Shift F. The shortcut key will be under the source. Under the source, you can see option like format. Okay, you write some code in Eclipse and it doesn't look good. I wanted to align it properly, then you can use this option format. Control Shift F is the shortcut key. Just align the code, the given code. Now, what will happen is it will, whatever the value I give, it will check this condition. 50 greater than equal to 90. No, it will go for next condition, checks for this. Not matching, it will go for next condition, check it, false. And then it will check for this. Greater than equal to 45, true. And less than equal to 59, true. So both are true. So it will try to print the grade as D. Right now, the detail is hard coded. Okay, if you wanted to change anything, you can change it. Even if I give negative value, what will be printed with this logic? Integer can accept negative value. What grade will be printed? If let me run this code. So basic idea is enough right now how to use the if condition. If I give 190 or whatever it is, it will be greater than equal to 90. So it will print grade. And that boundary we did not fix. If you want to fix, you can fix it. Okay, 100 to 90, or you can exclude the value, the negative value and greater than 100 value before we enter into the if condition. I wanted to exclude that. For example, I wanted to exclude the value which is greater than 100 and also less than 0. So in that case, first what I'll do is, this is one way to do it. You can use this. If mark less than 0, okay, if mark less than 0, I wanted to exclude it, give a proper value. And one more improper value is there, that is mark greater than 100. Okay, so during this scenario, what I can do is I can give system.out.println provide mark between 0 to 100. This I'll keep it as else if. Okay, so first what will happen is, it will check for this condition. It's for this condition. If I give negative value, this will be true. If this is true, it will be printed. Okay. If let me give more value, so this will be false, but this will be true. Either or only I'm checking. So initially I'm excluding the values. So like this, if you want to construct a logic with this and all, you can do it. Okay, but so got some idea about if condition. That is a basic thing which we need to know. A switch condition we'll be discussing. We'll discuss that later. Now I'll get into the iterative statement. This iterative statement we'll try to cover it today. Let me create a new package and then I'll explain it. com.nsc. Any doubts with if condition? I've created a new package with the name loops. com.nsc loop. I'm going to create a class with name loops demo. And then with main method, let me create it. See, this is one important concept writing for in this. These are all very important for advanced for loop, basically for each loop. While these three are very important. Okay. For example, I wanted to print number 1 to 10. Okay, to print the number 1 to 10, we have to go for iterative statement. You can do system.out.println 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. You can type it. But if you wanted to print 100 values, or in Selenium, what we will do is we'll try to get the link from the page. In this link, there could be some 300 links, 200 links. If I want to check whether each link is working fine or not. So how to do that? For that and all, we will be writing a for loop and getting the values one by one. So to do that, we will be using the for loop. Just understand the syntax right now. When it comes to for loop, you should know the conditions, like initial conditions, the start point, end point, and iterations. Details you should know. Without this also we can do it, but we have to give it for. Okay, so I wanted to print 1 to 10. In that case, if you notice, the start in time I'm going to use, you can use any variable name equal to 1, whatever it is. Okay. I is widely used. You can see I. Okay, I will be mostly used, but you can use any variable name. It's not about the only I. So let me use this. I equal to 1. That's going to be the start point. I wanted to print 1 to 10. In that case, initial condition is going to be 1 equal to 1. I wanted to use double. I wanted to use byte, short. All those are possible. Numeric data types, anything you can use. And then the condition where I wanted to. So I wanted to get it till 5 less than equal to 10, including 10 I want. So this will be the condition. Next, you have to give the iteration. Right now, listen carefully. You will be seeing lots of code, something like I++, or you will be seeing ++I. Whatever you give it over here, like I++ or ++I, it is something like I equal to I+1. I equal to I+1, which means the current value will be incremented with 1. So I have given something like I equal to I+1. And then don't give semicolon. If you give semicolon, for loop is terminated here. In line number 9, no for loop is available. It's not a continuation of for loop. For loop is terminated here. No semicolon here. Let me go without parenthesis. If you start writing it, only first statement will be included for loop, same like if condition. Let me use parenthesis. System.out.println. I wanted to print the values 1, 2, 3, 4. So the values are stored inside the variable I. So I have to give the variable name I. Let me put a breakpoint here, or let me run it, and then I'll show you the debugging. See how it's going to run for 10 times. Now the breakpoint will give you an idea like what exactly happening during the runtime. Let me run the code in debug mode. Listen here. First, it comes to line number 8. I have added a breakpoint in line number 8. Now, first thing what will happen is it will initialize the I value. It will initialize the I value to 1. And after initializing the I value to 1, it will check this condition. 1 less than equal to 10. Is it true? 1 less than equal to 10. It's true. So it will get into this for loop, complete the operation. Now it will go for the increment. Already I value is 1. Now it will, you can see still it is 1. Now it will increment to 2, I plus 1, which becomes I. So 1 plus 1, 2, I becomes 2. After 2, it will check for this condition. 2 less than equal to 10, true. Again, it will enter into the for loop. And I becomes 3, it will keep on doing the check. And I becomes 4, checks for the condition 4 less than equal to 10. I becomes 5, checks for the condition, then it will enter. So let me try to run till 10, 9, 10. Now you see I becomes 11. Right now 10, 10 plus 1, 11. 11 less than equal to 10, it will check. No, it's not matching. It will come out of the loop. Understood? Idea about for loop. No. So we use for loop for handling the collections. Basically, the array details and all we'll be using for loop. Just understand that quickly. If I do something like I equal to I plus 2, every time it will increment to 2. So you can see the output. It will be 1, and then 3, and then 5, and then 7, and then 9. Okay. Just a logic. Let me do this. Let me keep, see, you can keep it as I plus plus. You can see the output right now. I plus plus. The output is 1 to 10. That is basically I equal to I plus 1. If I do plus plus I, listen carefully. If I do plus I, don't get confused. You see lots of code like this. If I do plus plus I or I plus plus, I'm going to get the same output. So this is not the place to discuss what is pre-increment, post-increment and all. Right now, you can give I equal to I plus 1. It's a valid code. Or I wanted to do something like increment every time 2 with 30, then you can do plus 2. If you want to do into 3, you can do into 3 also. Whatever logic you want to write, you can write it. So as of now, I just want to go for I equal to I plus 1. Instead of giving this, you can do I plus plus. Plus plus I, whatever it is, it's going to just do increment with. Let's take this array. Let's take this array. Numbers equal to. How to get the size of the array? Let me try to do this. This is an array. I already told you the alternate way to declare the array. Let's give this array. Alternate way to declare the array. So how do you get the size of this array? Length. So I can get the size of this array. Size equal to numbers. The array name dot length. It will give you the size of the array. Let me try to print it. Now you can see, let me run this logic. It will let me comment it for the timing. To comment it, you can select that portion, source, block command you can do, or toggle command you can do. Let me do toggle command. I just commented it, or control / run it. Okay, there are some 10 values in it. Okay, let me 10 values in it. So what are the index point we will have? The total size of the array is 10. 10 values are there. 10 items are available in the array. So what will be the index point? 0 to 9. Okay, just try to write a for loop print 0 to 9. The start point is going to be 0, end point is 9. Try to write a for loop. I want to write a for loop to get values 0 to 9. Just try to write a for loop and print the 0 to 9. Just we are trying to get use the for loop to print each value. Those who know, you can do it. Otherwise, those who are new, just try to write a for loop and try to write a for loop for this condition 0 to 9. Just try it and send me in the chat window. Here I have done 1 to 10. What you need to do is you have to write a for loop for printing 0 to 9. Yeah, so initialization you need to do. So for use editor and do it. So if you try to do something like this, it will start in the error. I should be initialized. Either outside you have to initialize, or inside you need to initialize. Using editor, like I equal to 0, if you do, it will ask you to declare the I value. Either you have to declare the I value before the for loop, or while declaring the for loop, you need to do. Logic is correct. We wanted 9 I want. So I can give less than equal to 9, or I can give less than 10. And initialization you need to do. So while doing that, it will ask to declare the I value. So declare it. Or you can declare it prior to this. Java's type the language, and then I++. Okay. Let me try to do this. I have given something like 0 to 10. I less than 10 means it will not include the 10. Till 9, it will try to get it. So you can see here. So this is the size, and this is the index point. We are writing a logic to get the index point right now. So for loop to printing 0 to 10. So right now I know exactly there are 10 items, and I know exactly 10 items. So I have hard coded here till 10. What if I add one more item? What will be the size if I add one more item? Size keeps on changing, right? If I add an item, size get into 11. So now index point will be 0 to 10. Okay, so what we can do in that case is, you can use the concept here. You can directly give, instead of storing it and doing it, I can store it and I can give size. That will also work. I can give numbers.length. Numbers.length, if you do array detail, array.length, right now it will be 11. So it will check something like I equal to 0, I less than 11, and I++. That's the logic here. Okay, numbers.length, correct. So you can store the value size and I can give it. It's also a proper way only. But most of the time we'll try to give directly. Unwanted storage, it's not recommended always. instead of storing it and doing the operation, we'll directly give it. That's how we will be practicing from the beginning. So I'll just try to, because this will be much faster than storing, taking the value on unwanted in registration of integer will happen, which is not required. You can directly use this. Now, if you see here, when I run this program, it tells exactly the index point. If I add a record, it will tell me the index point for the record available in the array. So we'll come to know, we'll try to use some method in Selenium, like driver dot something like find elements method we will be using. That will give you total web element in the page, total link in the page. Assume that it is going to give total link, something like 300 link will be there. So I wanted to get the link one by one. So I will be always starting with 0. Okay, all the collection concept in Java starts with 0. So I less than the link count I'll give, element count I'll give, that will give you the size. Like 300 means 0 to 299. Then increment each and every link I wanted to move on. So index point, I got it. Right now I got the index point. Now when the index point is 0, let me run this program. You can see it starts with 0. When the index point is 0, I wanted to go inside this array and get the value for the 0th index point. So what I can do over here, for example, if I wanted to do numbers of 0, if I do numbers of 0 and run it, you can see every time it will print the value inside the 0th index. I can, first time it should be 0, second time it should be 1, third time it should be 2. So that logic is what we have written. So that is nothing but logic inside which variable name we are storing the index point. Okay, so I've given something like I, right? So if you see the logic, what we are writing is for the index point. Okay, now we got some index point detail. Now we can access the collection. The collection name right now is numbers. Okay, numbers of access the value one by one, 0, 1, I can do. Now I'm writing a logic for that index only. I can give numbers of I. Let me put a breakpoint here, debug it and show you. You can see here. First, it will run the line number 13. So which means 11 integer will be loaded in memory. You can see here. Is it clear for you? 0 to 11 index point. Each index point is containing the integer value. Now, just getting the size and printing it, which is not required right now. For loop I equal to 0 and 0 less than length or not, it will check. Length is 12. So 0 less than 12. Okay, matching. So it will true. It will enter into this loop. Here numbers of I. Currently the I value is 0. Numbers of 0 will be 45. That value will be given. Okay. And again the for loop will be running. And I becomes 2. 2 less than 12. 3 less than 12. It will keep on moving the value. Okay. Got it? Understood everyone how to get the values one by one from this collection? Right now when I run the program, it will try to get the values. Okay, let's take the same array. Let me take the same array. I wanted to print the values from this array. You can take the array from the chat window. Take this array from the chat window. Now, if you see here, I want to print the values which are less than equal to 50. I want to print the values which are less than equal to 50. How to achieve that? Only the value which are less than equal to 50. So what we can do? Instead of printing all the values, I wanted to print only the values which are less than equal to 50. So what we can do? Try it. Yeah, so Numbers is basically, what is numbers? Numbers is basically an array that will print the address only. So what we should do, check the condition properly and give me. Yeah, print, like we print numbers of I less than equal to 50. In the sense it will print either true or false. Okay, we will try to write a condition. If condition is what we will be doing it. See, for example, first time 0 is going to come, I equal to 0. Numbers of 0 is going to be 45. I will put a condition here. You can write an if condition and all, not no blockade on this and all. You can write a number of if condition, inside for loop. Inside for loop, you can write one more for loop. Based on your scenario and logic, you can create it. Numbers, if I do, numbers is not holding the value. Numbers, what is happening? Numbers is pointing to some address. That's it. You cannot directly apply the logic here. Then equal to 50 here. It will start throwing the error. Okay. Understood? How to access the value? Yeah, so to access the value, you need to get into some index point. Either you can give 0 or 1 index point you need to give. Then only you will get the value. So any of that is taken care by I. Numbers of I less than equal to 50. You can see numbers of I less than equal to 50. Open and close the parenthesis. It will, if you write 2-3 lines of code, it's important. So always use parenthesis. Then I wanted to print the values. Now if I try to debug the script, you can see for loop starts here, ends here. Inside that, I'm writing an if condition. Okay, now for numbers of I. Okay, so numbers of 0 less than equal to 50. So 45, right? So it will be less than 50. 45 is printed. Now numbers of 1, what is the value in 1 first index? It is the value in first index. It's 99, right? Yeah, so 99 less than equal to 50. No, so it will if for false, so it will not run this one. It will go for next iteration. Next value 55, not matching. Next value 12, matching. 4 less than equal to 50. 3 less than equal to 50. 35 less than equal to 50. 85, no, not less than equal to 50. 46 true, and 88 false. 28 true, 98 false, 29 true. So it will print. Okay, you can write all these kind of logic. You can write. Okay, so is it clear for you? Okay, so just listen here. I wanted to check whether 99 is present in this or not, present in this array or not. 99 value is present in this array or not. Then what I can do? A simple logic, right? I can do equal to 99. That's it. I wanted to check whether 99 is present or not. If it is present, I wanted to print present along with that value. So how can we fix this error? I did present. Yeah, you have to add the plus symbol here. Okay, present, then the value. Let me run it in a debug mode. So debugging is very important right now, so that you can check the value one by one. So numbers of 0, 45, numbers of 1, 99 equal to 99, true, matching, printing. That's it. Okay. Now, if you see, listen, all of you, we got the output. What we are expecting is we are expecting for 99. So we got the 99 and printed. So now what will happen? This for loop, what it does? Assume that we have an array only with unique values. Okay, so what is happening right now? These are all some unwanted iteration, correct? We are trying to check for 99. Okay, now, so it goes for numbers of 0, 45, and numbers of 1, 99. So we got the output. Now, I got the output with 99. It is printed also. Suppose that whatever we are running, whatever we are trying to run with this for loop, it's unnecessary, which is not required. Got it? How can we stop that? How can we stop the further iteration? See, I'm checking for 99. We got the 99 in first index itself. I got the 99. So after getting the 99, I don't want to run this for loop further. I want to stop the iteration. So what we can do in that case? So here, if you remember, I mentioned something like break. Okay, let's discuss about that. First, you have a link. You're checking for the in this page. You are checking for the link called about or anything. Like you are checking for Instagram or you are checking for fuel. There's a link. You are checking for fuel. Now in this page there are 200 link. You have started checking for the link fuel. You got the link fuel in 10th index point. You got it. After you get it, this for loop will be keep on running for further iteration because we have written a logic to get iterated till 200, right? So further iteration I don't want to do. So my aim is to get check for 99 or check for particular value. Once you achieve that, you don't want the further iteration of for loop. To stop the further iteration, you can use break. Listen carefully, all of you. Break in say break is for terminating the loop. Remember that break is for terminating the loop. What is loop here? If is a condition. If is a condition, don't get confused. Break is for terminating the loop. It will stop the further iteration. It will stop the iteration and come out. Now listen carefully. Numbers of 0, 45. So not going to run 99. So it is printing. Now it is meeting the break. Once it meets the break, it will come out of the loop. See, when I click on break, which is highlighted, for loop is highlighted, not the if condition. If is a condition. Okay, if it is matching, it will run that set. When it meets the break, it will stop the iteration. So you can see it will come out of the loop. Now it will be much faster. Instead of checking other like after 99 also the iteration is happening. Anyhow, it's not going to throw any error, but further iteration will happen and check every time happens. Which suppose if I have some 300, 400 links, in that you are checking for something which comes in 10th, less than 10th index and all, unwantedly it will do for 290 times, 390 times, which is not required. So to avoid that, to stop the further iteration, we can do break. You will check the title. You are going to there will be 3-4 tabs. You will check the title. Once the title is matching, I want to stay in that tab, so no need of further iteration. I want to terminate the for loop. During that time you can use break. Understood this break? Everyone got it? What is break statement? What if I add a break statement here? Say the like in the for loop, if I add the break statement, not inside the condition, here I added, so which means it comes inside the for loop directly. What will happen in this case? What happen when it break? What's happening right now? When I run it, what is happening right now? See what is actually happening right now. Yeah, so break is for terminating the for loop, just terminating the current for loop and come. So right now, you listen carefully, all of you. See, it will run. It will run. Right now, what will happen is it will check for the for loop start at 0, numbers of 0. On first iteration, it will go to the break. First iteration itself, it will go to the break. Basically, 0th index only it will run. So you should not add the break here and all. If you add break, only for 0th index it will run. Got it? On matching this condition, I want to terminate the loop. On matching this condition, break is for loop. Okay, loop here is for loop. And, you can use break for loop. You can use it for each loop, while do while loop and all. Okay. Oh, that is your break statement. Got it? Understood what is break? Clear for everyone? Let me create one more class. Just listen quickly. Remaining loops and all, it will be clear for easy for you to work. Just listen carefully. See here. Let me take this array and keep it here. Now, info. We understand for loop. For loop, you need to know the initial end condition iteration. For the based on that, you can write any logic. Now in for loop, what we are doing is, suppose I wanted to handle this array. To handle the array, what I did is, using for loop, I constructed a logic to get the index point. Using for loop, after I identify the array length, array size, after identifying the array size, I constructed a logic to get the index point. Here, you are trying to get the index point. Okay. And then after getting the index point, you are accessing the array with that index point and getting the value. Okay. Lots of steps involved in this. Completely a logic is what you are writing to handle this array. Now to overcome this, most of the time you will be dealing with the advanced for loop, which is nothing but this for each. Okay, this is created for handling array and collections. We will be dealing about collections later. This is especially created for handling array and collection. Right now, let's do it for. This is the same. You have to give colon. On the right hand side, you have to give the collection name, array name, collection name. What is the array name here? What is the array name here?
Numbers.
Numbers is the array name. So let me give that. Now, here it will try to send the value one by one from that array. Now you should know what type of collection is it? What type of collection is it? What type of array is it? What data type? Like it's an integer array or string array or double array. We know exactly, right? So we only declared it. So now we know exactly what type of array is it. So what type of array is it? Each index point contains what data type in this? Is that clear for you? What type of array is it? It's an integer, right? So you have to give, see here, you'll be getting the int. Any variable name you can give. Let me give the variable name as VAL, just some variable name, any variable name you can give. So this for each is for handling the collections or array only. You should have some collection detail. Right now I have this detail. I wanted to get the value from this collection one by one. So for that, I can design my own logic and get the value one by one by using that index point. Otherwise, I can use this for loop, advanced for loop, where I have to provide the array detail or collection detail. Rest everything will be taken care automatically. Here you have to give a proper data type. That's it. Each index point contains what data type. And system.out.println BAL. You can see here. Listen carefully. Debugging is will give you a clear picture here. Let me put a breakpoint here and debug it. I have this collection. You can see the collection here. It's a collection. So 0th index, everything is there. Right now, from this array, it will send the value one by one. Directly, it will send the value. First 45 will be sent, next 99, next 55. In the order, it will send the value. Just see here. Value is 45. Directly, we are going to get the value. And value is 99. No need to worry about the size. No need to worry about the index point. Everything will be taken care by just providing the array detail. So this is especially designed for handling the collections. Okay. So based on the array detail, automatically it will send the value one by one. Got it? How to write this for loop? Let's take this. We have already created this. We have to write the for each loop for this array. Tell me how to write it. We can write using for loop, or you can use for each. When you deal with collection, it's better to go with for each, because when you compare these two things, which will be faster? This kind of logic will be faster, or this will be faster when you compare. So as of now, when you run it, you are going to get the output in this. It looks like the same time only, but the for each is something which is designed for handling the collection. This will be faster. Okay, all the standard will be used for creating this logic. We are not worrying about the index point. Here what we are doing is we are initializing an integer, so which takes 32-bit. Here also we are initializing, we have to get the size. every time we are validating some condition here, that takes some time, and then incrementing here. Then we are going to the array and getting the value by using the index point. Lots of effort is there while running this, whereas here everything is automatically taken care. It will do the same operation, but it is automatically taken care using inbuilt function. So this will be faster. Now coming to this point, I wanted to get this value one by one. So I will be writing a for loop. So tell me the logic. So what is the array name here? Okay. Yeah, so that's correct. You have to give the colors, the variable array name, and then each index point. For example, by mistake, if you do something like int x and all, it will throw error. It will directly throw error because each index point contains what data type. But to understand what type of array is it, you can see it says cannot convert string to int, which is not possible. It's an int string basically. It's a string array. Each index point contains a string only. Any variable name you can give. It's not about x and all. Any variable name you can give. Temporarily, the current value will be stored inside that variable. Understood? This for loop. In this, you can write all the logics like I wanted to check for value 99. How to do that? In this for loop, I wanted to check the value for 99. So how to do that? What should be the condition? I have to write it here. Condition I need to write. What condition I need to write it here? Checking for value 99. So what condition I have to write it here if I want to check for the value 99? Okay, so directly we are going to get the value. So the variable name equal to 99 I2. That value only I wanted to print. I can put this. Let me put a breakpoint here and show you the debugging process here. Okay, you can see value right now is 24, not matching. Next value 45, not matching. Next value 99, matching. Print it. Okay, and this for loop will be running further also because that's how it will work. So it will run for every value. Okay, now we are trying to check for 99. How can we terminate the further iteration? We can use break. Break can be used in any loop. I use break here. When I use break, once the condition is matched, you can see here 99 matching, break, come out of the loop and go for the next thing and printing the value one by one. Got it? For each is clear for you. All of you understood this one. See, whatever we have discussed based on that. Okay, while do while and all, it's simple concept only. It's on same similar concept only. Switch while do while, we'll see it in the next class. In the first 14 minutes we'll discuss, but whatever I have told you right now, that is going to be the basic of writing any logics in programming. Okay, let me give you a drive link. Next class will be an important one. We will be discussing about static and non-static concepts. Methods first we will be discussing. You have to create few methods. Then I'll be explaining about the classes and objects. So next class and the next to next class will be very important. Okay. This drive link whether you are able to access the drive link. Open an incognito window, it should be accessible. Here I'll be giving you few assignments based on the topics we have discussed. Okay, you try to complete that and keep it. Just try to create a new package called com.nsc.assignment. Inside that, you can create a class and complete it and keep it. Okay. So whatever you've discussed till now, any doubts with that? Before starting the next class, we'll try to like new topic. We'll try to cover this and then we'll start it. Or you can check the syntax right now, as you will be able to understand. Logic will be same. Okay. While is also an important. How can I get a specific index value in array or vice versa? Specific index in the sense like index of value 28, something like that. Okay. So for that and all, we need write methods only. Mostly we'll be discussing about the collections. Right now, array is not going to have those methods in this case. String will be having the methods, or collection will be having the methods. Using collections, we will be able, like if we convert this into an array list or anything, you will be having a method to do it. This is a concept of array list, which we will be discussing. Array list. So in array list, you have a method. Let me show you. We'll be discussing about it. In array list, you have lots of methods. You have methods for index of these methods and all. We'll try to use an array list. Index of particular value will give. It will give you the index. Right now, array is not having the method. We'll convert or we'll go for collection. What is the drawback of array? If you see, I mentioned over here, zero based index, size is fixed. Once the declaration is done, size will be fixed. Here, line number 20, I cannot increase the size of one array. You can see we have declared lots of array here. Now, the size of this integer array is 5. In line number 15, I wanted to increase the size of 5 to 10. That is not possible. Line number 15, that's not possible. What you need to do is you have to initialize a new array only. You have to initialize a new array. A fresh array will be initialized with index 0 to 9. All will be having a 0 value as a default one. You cannot increase the already available memory. Okay, that's not possible. So to overcome all these issues, we'll go for collection. When you go for collection, you'll get a method for the question which you asked, index of array list. So as of now, I'll be giving you few things to practice. A simple logics only. For example, something like this. Okay. So writing something like 3 table logic and working with the array. So these kind of sample assignments I'll give you. Try to work on it. Try to practice it. Those who are new to Java, get comfortable with Eclipse first of all and writing the syntax. So next class is going to be an important one. As I told you, we'll be discussing about the OOPS concept, static, non-static concepts we'll be discussing. So that is very important. So next class, make sure everyone try to listen carefully. That is going to be the basement for the entire OOPS concept. The object, what is object exactly, we'll be discussing. Whatever we have discussed till now, it's going to be a common in all the languages. The syntax is what you need to work on. Assignments I'll be sharing in the drive link. Hope you're able to access the drive link. Check it in another 20 minutes. I'll be uploading the assignments. Make sure complete it. And in case of doubts, you can drop a mail to the organizer where they will be reaching you. Okay? Or I will check with my team and then give mail ID in the next class. So any doubts? Okay, that's all for today's session. I hope the drive link is accessible. In case of any issues, you can drop a mail to the organizer. I will check with my team, okay, and then update. Fine. So that's all for today's session. If you don't have any doubts, we can wind up the day. Okay then. Bye everyone. Hello.